computer. All right, so you should get a little notice about the recording, and I know, hey Donna, glad you could join us in between appointments. So, but uh um, but what this what's that, Donna? Okay, yeah, what this Zoom meeting wanted to go over is this is mainly for the alumni programs, and the alumni program that we're doing in mid-September that's leading up to Constitution Day. And one thing that we've done is we've transformed the alumni program into to have an end cap of some of the events we're doing for Constitution Weekend on that Saturday. And just I wanted to make sure you all knew about this so you could extend your stay if it was possible, because we're going to be it'll be like a regular expedition starting on Sunday night, and then doing our excavations at the memorial site throughout the week. And then on Friday, we're going to be doing shovel test pits at the next site we're looking to move towards next year, which is the area called Walnut Hollow, which is where Dennis found a number of homes for enslaved families. And this is on that road, just off that road that heads down to the ice pond, from the ice house down to the ice pond. And there are probably I'll get into this in the story map or in the GIS map in a few minutes. But we're going to be digging shovel test pits there on Friday, and then that late afternoon, we're going to be doing a wine tasting with Sweet Vines, which is a local winery, and then wrap the day up. And for those of you all that can stay on Saturday morning, we're going to be doing a hike in the East Woods at 8 o'clock. And then when we get back from that, head over to all the events associated with the Constitution Day, including a book talk. And then we're going to be doing a tour of the home farm in the afternoon, because I know a number of you all haven't been over there since we found a lot of really amazing finds, especially with the overseer's house. And then after that, do a tour of the burial ground, which of course would be optional for you all because you'll have already been at the burial ground earlier that week. But what we're doing with this, with the end of the alumni program for that week, is for Friday and Saturday, we're going to have that be a 2-day program that we're experimenting with to try to see if we can get folks to sign up for Friday and then take part in the Saturday. So it's a way of diversifying our program offerings so we can get a whole nother group of people to be able to be part of all this. So for those folks that are coming on Friday and Saturday, you all are going to become, in many ways, the teachers, because you're our experienced group, and we'll have you all, working with them, with staff, of course, up at the at Walnut Hollow, and helping out with the doing the shovel test pits, but showing how to power through the soil and do the screening and identifying artifacts, all that. So I think it's going to be a really great experience for folks that come on the 2-day program, but also for you all as well. So, and again, we always look forward to the alumni program because we get to see old friends and have folks see each other who haven't seen each other in a long time, and have folks just a lot of great conversations. So, and I see a couple of other folks have joined. Hey, Cindy, how are you doing? So some folks are
Unmuting. Hi. Hi.
okay. No
How are you
problem,
doing?
Cindy. Uh, so, but what we're going to be doing with the alumni program is we'll have some specialized tours that y'all have not been on. Like, for example, we're going to bring you all back to a burial ground that we found a number of years ago in an area at Tagg's Island. Some of y'all might know what Tagg's Island is. It's one of the DuPont worker housing areas that's no longer occupied. But back in the woods there, we found a burial ground that probably is associated with Tetley Plantation, a neighboring plantation, and I'll show you that where that location is in a second. But then we're going to have a number of other tours that we do and lectures that will, it's always fun to give you all some new information, experiment with how some of these new tours might work for other expeditions, and just test the tires on a lot of what we do and give you all some new experiences. So, but yeah, does anybody have any questions on the program coming up?
I'm just sitting here wondering, Matt, how did our pins make it through?
Yeah, they
Our
did
name
actually.
tags?
The Steve, who's on the call right now, is going to be washing these, but we're either Steve will do it or we're going to put them in the power washer and wash them up. Some of them definitely need some love, but they made it. I mean, that's about probably $3,000 worth of name tags, and so we don't want to just
Well,
throw away plastics, and they'll have a lot of character now and a story to tell.
I
Only
know
like
Tony's is
Steve.
still there. I made an error when the Kim and Stacy and I were there in March before the fire, and I forgot to turn mine in. So I brought
Oh,
mine
that's
in.
good. Then you have a cleaner name tag.
Yes, yes.
Do you have your name tag, Mike, still, or
No, I left it in the lab. I sent you an email and asked you if it survived the blaze.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I think it did. It probably did. It's there was a couple of them that fell off that might have gotten a little more fire ridden, but I think most of them did survive the blaze. The worst thing that happened is on some of them the sticky left the back because of the heat. So yeah, Mike.
So you mentioned a couple of places that I wasn't familiar with, the burial ground and some other locations. And I know it's been a while since I was there, but my question goes back a few years, and I wonder if any of those sites that you're talking about were revealed as a result of the LiDAR survey you did a number of years ago.
The sites that I was just talking about, Tags Island, and then also Walnut Hollow, we knew about prior to the LiDAR. But the LiDAR certainly helped out in understanding more about those sites. So, for example, for the one back over at Tags Island, and I'll show this in a second, the LiDAR revealed how there were several roads that came together at that location. We knew the roads were there, but just eyeballing them on the landscape, but to be able to see them on the LiDAR, we were able to put them into a much larger context and link them into other road traces that, when you're out there in the woods, you just can't see, as you know, that like you can with the LiDAR. So it's the LiDAR has been huge in our ability to place sites that we found through metal detector survey into the larger landscape context at Montpelier. So definitely that's a big factor with all that.
So I didn't mean to throw you off the track.
No, you're good. That's what this is all about. So throwing Matt off track, so getting some other conversations going. So, but yeah, no, but I wanted to make sure that you all knew about the Saturday plans. On this is Saturday, uh, the 20th, and I will go ahead and share screens here. Um, let's see, screen 3 here. And this is for example, where we're going to be working on Friday. This is the area right beside the temple where the horse graves are. So these are the horse graves right here. This is the view of this same area looking down towards the village, towards the farm complex. And here's a shot of Chris being very excited about some of the finds that were made in that fall of 2022 metal detector survey with some of the metal detectorists in the back there. And of course, this is all adjacent to Dolly's Midden or the dining room midden. This is a shot of this area that we took back in November of 2008. No, I'm sorry, 2007 when we did the excavations here. The temple being here, and then this ridge extending out here. The end of this ridge right here is the horse graves, and this shot right here looks from the horse graves towards the temple, and it's right in this area. Well, obviously, where all the red flags are, that's where the mother lode of this site was. And
Dennis's poppy field.
Another one of Dennis's poppy fields, exactly. So Dennis right now is making a poppy field out back at the home farm. He's finished up the burial ground and the memorial site, and so he's returned to the area between the blacksmith shop and the homes for enslaved families out there to figure out what's down there, and has found some really cool stuff. He found a bridal rein that everybody was excited about. And there's Chris popping through right there. You got folks here, Mike and
Tony. Oh, it's good to see you all. So. Sorry, I can't see you from here, but.
Oh, yeah. Tiny on the screen, postage stamp size. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump over to the maps now. Well, first for Constitution Day, here's the schedule right here. I just emailed this to you all. Anybody have any questions about that? No. All right, good deal. And I think that day on Friday there is a Packard car show that's going to happen, and that's going to be on the ellipse around the main house. So later on in the afternoon, there's going to be about 30 Packards parked out front there, which would be really cool. I mean, Packards is one of my favorites aside from Duesenberg. So all cars that, can always fantasize about. So, but 1930s and 40s varieties. So in my opinion, the 40s turned into boats, but the 30s are just par excellence for their elegance. But for the giving you an idea of the sites here, where like I was mentioning, one thing I was talking about was Tags Island. This is this site up in this area right up here. So if you look at the property as a whole, let this all settle in. Here's Route 20 right here, and the main house is down here. Here's the main house right here, and then the entrance road coming in right here. And then if you remember where the O&M building is, this one right here, this big storehouse, it's right beside that. You go into the woods and then walk back here. Here's Tags Island with all these buildings that are back here. Here's the one that Tanya and I lived in for a number of years. Here's colon tests back in 2000 and in the fall of 2000, getting ready to, we're going to move out of there. But the burial ground that I'm talking about is in this area. And if you, Mike, you mentioned the LiDAR. If you give this a second for the LiDAR to come up, what's really interesting about this burial ground is you can see the graves right here. And then you've got this crossroads right here. These are not logging roads. These are older road traces. You can actually see some of the logging tracks that run through here, but these are these old flat traced roads that run up in this area. And then these combine in with the Patton Road that comes through this area. So it's some really interesting pieces of history that's out in this area, and then with the burial ground in this area. And if you look at the where the Patton lines are for the same time period, let's see, wait for these guys to pop up. I'm working my laptop here pretty hard. Yeah, here's the Patton line right here. So it's right on the edge of this wood line. So right in this area, this is all the Madison property in this area right in here that they patented in the 1720s. And then when you look at where the burial ground is, it's right here just on the other side of that Patton line. But interestingly enough, James Madison Sr. purchased this section of land in 1780, which contains the burial ground. So, whether or not this burial ground is associated with Montpelier or this larger estate of Tetley Plantation up in this direction is hard to say. And this is all, something we need to explore with some metal detector surveys to date fences that might be around that area and get a better understanding of it. But lots of work for the future. But for the week, what we're going to be doing is the main site we're going to be working on is the burial ground right in this area, right in here. So the main house is right here, and then just down the hill you get the burial ground right in this area. And for the burial ground, we've been working at the burial ground site since around April, and have gotten a really good understanding of what we're the area where the memorial is going to go appears to be outside of the burial ground. But we've been finding a lot of interesting artifacts and features in this area, but most especially some of the quartz crystals that have been showing up. And by the time we get into September, I think we're going to have some of the artifacts from the other units analyzed, and we'll have a better understanding of, what the exact context of these quartz crystals are. And some of these quartz crystals you can see in this photograph right here. This is from one of the units that is in, if you look at this map right here, here is the crossroads of Westgate Road, and then the road leading up to the visitor center. And then this unit is right in this area right here. And these crystals are, we're finding in some units 5 or 6 crystals in a single layer, which is highly unusual. I mean, you all remember probably working at, at various sites across the property, and we might find 2 or 3 of these per season. But with the number that we're finding, especially like this quartz cluster right here, you don't see it. And it appears to be more than just what it would naturally appear in the soils. I was just talking with Liz this morning, and we've been collecting water screen samples to see if we find smaller examples of these, which we should find, and those aren't showing up, which speaks to these potentially being, intentionally placed. So have a lot of questions left on this, but some exciting finds that we're having. So we're going to be doing, for 3 or 4 of the days, we're going to be working at the burial ground right in this area. But then for the Friday on the last day of the expedition, we're going to be doing shovel test bits up at Walnut Hollow. And Walnut Hollow, of course, is this area right in here. This is the swale that leads down to the ice pond. The temple is right here in its location. And then just down the hill from this, you've got this set of sites that Dennis found through metal detector survey. And I don't know, let me see if the 10-foot, yeah, you can see with the 10-foot grid that Dennis did a couple of years ago. This area in red here, these are these sites that are right beside the horse graves. So all this area in here is just loaded with artifacts. And we're going to be digging shovel test pits across this area to figure out, what's the date range based on the ceramics. What sort of, what is the depth of the topsoil in this area? Are there features present? Is there evidence for any kind of hearths or trash pits in this area? So we're excited to be able to get into this area as well. And this will be a prelim potentially for, we're thinking we're going to be looking at this area next season with the expeditions. So anybody have any questions about this?
Yep, Matt, I have one.
Yeah.
On the cemetery, I know, that was a high priority to be able to locate the memorial, and it was hoping that it was going to be done this year. Is everything still on schedule, even though we had all the problems?
Yeah, no, we did have a delay in the beginning. We have pretty much focused on doing excavations to clear the area for the memorial. And I think right now we appear to be on track for that. And so for the burial ground site, that area that we're looking at, if I turn off the LiDAR here, you can see, um, oh, let me turn off the metal detector survey as well, because that's putting a shade on all this. Let's see, where is that? Yeah, there we go. The area we've been working on is this area right in here. And it looks like the edge of the burial ground is pretty much where the periwinkle is. And all these red dots in here, as well as some of these in here, are based on the ground penetrating radar survey, are grave shafts. And when you get into the area that's right in here where we have units that we've opened up, um, especially this area right in here, what we found is there's no evidence for grave shafts, but what we're finding is these anomalies, the red features that are in here, like these in here, they appear to be just oriented with the bedrock that we're finding. And so and we're going to continue to work on this over the next 2 months. But we're finding more and more that it looks like the edge of the burial ground is somewhere in this area. So we're thinking that by next year, we'll have cleared this, for the MDC and Montpelier to do the design work on the memorial, and then be moving on to this next site. So
where the plow zone was, where they had done their plowing, and you had found the fence, basically to the right of that, to the road, is pretty well wide open, is it?
It appears exactly, Tony. This appears to be wide open in here. Like it was plowed in the late 19th century, and where Dennis found the fence along this area, you got a vegetation change where it's you don't have a lot of native Virginia plants, native flora in this area. But then on this side, is where you start getting into all the periwinkle and the flora that is bulb-based plants that are all through this area. And then it appears that along this line right here, this was plowed in the 19th century, maybe early 19th century. But then when you get on this side, where all the anomalies are, that does not look like it's ever been plowed. And there's a lot of native plant flora that just don't survive in areas where you've got plowing, even in the 18th century. So this season's been incredibly informative on, testing out some of the hypotheses that we had from the GPR, from the LIDAR, and then also from the plant surveys that we had done earlier this year. And it'll be fun to show you all that. We've also, in doing the testing in this area, we've come across some DuPont era trash deposits that have revealed some interesting items. We found earlier this week, we found a little tag with a Texaco symbol on it. And that it's pretty cool. That Texaco symbol dates to potentially the 1930s. And talking to some of the descendants who remember the store being there, they remember Texaco being the distributor for the filling station that was there, which is kind of neat. So it was kind of special to find that with the plans that we have for the old Montpelier store. So some fun stuff there. But yeah, so I for this presentation, wanted to give you all basically an overview of what we're going to be doing. I didn't feel a need to get deep into some of the history like I usually do with the expeditions. Yeah, thought I could just answer questions that you all might have about the program coming up. I'll go ahead and stop sharing screens here. Yeah, and get back to the group here.
We're in good shape.
So Matt, do you have even an interim place as far as a lab goes?
The interim space that we've got is over at Gupton. Let me show you where that is. where Gupton is. Oh, looks like the rain is hitting us. The hurricane is with us right now.
We sent her your way.
Yeah, she's with us right now.
Well, we've had rain here since Sunday. We finally had sun today, first day.
Yeah, some of my neighbors down in Florida were calling me about the pond going up.
Yeah.
So here's the old lab right here, the old archaeology office, an old archaeology lab. And then right across the stream valley is this little building, Gupton Library. So we've been using this as an interim lab, but then we've still been using the deck of the archaeology lab for water screening. But we're going to be moving, hopefully by March of next year, we'll move this whole operation over to the old Montpelier store across Route 20. And been doing a little bit of research on the Montpelier store, and Steve found this photo recently. Did you find this at where'd you find this, Steve?
From the Hagley Museum in Delaware.
From the Hagley Museum. Yeah, this is an amazing picture. I love this one, Steve, showing the Montpelier supplies. And in the story map I'm going to send out on Saturday morning, some of the descendants from Jacksontown, Iris Ford, Madeline Anglin, Henry Anglin, and Barbara White, wrote a little piece about their memories of the store. And I've included that in there. But one thing that we want to do with this project is lean in heavy with the DuPont heritage and this being a community center. And so we're super excited about having this be open. And in the story map, it's no secret. Cindy is providing a match for this to make this happen. So thank you for that, Cindy, and thank you, Gail and Tony, for the help you've given. So really appreciate it. So we're gonna make this happen, which is great. We're very excited about this.
It's pretty awesome.
It is, and being on Route 20, when you look at this, this is right along the main drag here, and you've got the the train station that's just down the road. You've got the Gilmore cabin, and so what we want to do is, and Yola, our president, is really interested in making this into not just a community hub, but also a focus point in the landscape for generating more awareness for this, cultural center that we have in here, and which includes, of course, all the Civil War encampments that are back in this area. So, we've got as you all know from walking back there with Chris and Alex more recently, we've got a trail that talks about the transition from slavery to freedom with the Confederate encampments, and then the era of Jim Crow with the train station, and then of course the store. And in the write-up that Iris did and her cousins did, they've got some interesting insights into that and how the store fits into this. So some fun stuff with all this. And it'll be, we've wanted to have a community focus for a long time, and this is going to make it into a reality. And Steve gets the credit for the name. Community Archaeology Lab at Montpelier, CALM, which I love. So it's like, how do we build CALM? How can you contribute to CALM? So that's
a great location.
It is.
Isn't that a two-story building?
It is a two-story building. Absolutely. This one, it's got upstairs offices there, and what's even more amazing, it's got a full-size basement that we're working with a contractor to get completely dried out and then be able to use that for storage. And on the back side of the building, there's a bulkhead entrance, so we can, roll things right down into it. So it's going to make, it'll mean that we can have more items that are in process, local, and, with the building. And then actually getting over to O&M, where our main storage facility is, will be even faster. So Curatorial has a storage unit behind SO. So, we'll be able to provide some assistance for Curatorial, and they're bringing things in as well. So it seems like it's a little bit isolated from the rest of the campus, the rest of Montpelier, but being on 20, I think it's going to provide a real uh, access point for community. We're going to probably change out the SO sign. Lynn Lewis, who was the archaeologist here years ago, said the SO sign was something that the trust was given, and they thought it was cute, so they put it up there. I mean, it was a filling station, but SO was not the distributor; it's Texaco, and this is something we need to do some research on to make sure. But if that is the case, we're probably going to take that SO sign down and then put the Montpelier logo up there with Community Archaeology Lab, and then local community members. It'll provide a drop-in spot just like the old store did. And then the idea with this is to have this be more of a space that local community members feel welcome. Potentially, have more local students doing internships with us. Just really build on the strength that we have with the community, and have us. And this is something to be mercenary about this. And you all know that we need to hunt and find and hunt what we eat, so to speak. Is that for grant agencies, they are really interested in internships, especially local internships in rural areas. And so we'd be able to potentially be able to find grants to fund internships, and then just have a lot more local involvement with Montpelier, which has been a kind of a hard hill to climb with the local community for many years. So.
Now,
Matt, will that function as both the lab and your office, or is your office going to be located somewhere else?
Oh, yeah, thanks, Denise. This is going to be everything. It's going to be the lab and the office. So the upstairs is just as big as this first floor. And so that's going to be the office space for staff and interns. And then this whole bottom floor will be the lab.
And
so
will you still have a place on site? Like so many times when you're out in the field, somebody's got to run back to the lab to pick up this or that. Will you have a thing for like equipment and closer on site?
That's what Chris has talked about, and definitely we're gonna have probably for charging batteries, having equipment storage. We'll have something closer in for that. And it depends on where we're doing our excavations. That might shift through time. So, but yeah, that is one aspect, that it is a little bit further. And so, like, probably for parking the gator, we're going to need to do that on this side of Route 20. Either that or open up the old Montpelier route across this area, or it'd be great to have a path along Route 20 that can link into this. But we're gonna figure all that out. So, in years ago, the old road trace used to come up here, and there's a berm that's still here that goes up into this area. And I've walked this out. It'd be interesting to have a walking path where visitors could get down to the train station, and then have that be wide enough for the gator. Who knows? So it's something. Get the chainsaw out, Steve, and cut these timbers here to get that go down there. So, because I don't know if y'all. So Cindy, you remember this. This was where the gate was up until 2003, and then you came across the bridge that was right here. So I need to have a picture of that bridge on this map.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and the supply store was the visitor center when I first started coming to Montpelier. So I just think it's a great location. I understand the logistical issues, but I think in terms of visibility, creating more hospitality for Montpelier that's easy to access, bringing people in, providing for the community, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, we're super excited about this. And yeah, that I just remembered, of course, we have access to all this stuff because of the of GIS. here's a picture of the old gift shop. So this is a picture, I think, at Christmas of 2003 with the gift shop in its full splendor. So we're gonna, of course, we won't have all these tchotchkes out here, but the bookshelves or the shelves are still in this area. The old tin ceiling is still there. We're gonna lean in heavy on the the having this be a drop-in community center, but having everything you have in the archaeology lab. The display windows that are right here, these are, when you look at this, these display windows right here, we're going to have displays talking about, what our latest finds are, the site we're working on, but then also what's out along Route 20 and some of the history that's there. So if we're not there during like on a weekend, people would still be able to stop by here and see things. So, but I think as we move into this space and see how it operates, we might want to, have staff here on the weekends. We'll just have to see. So,
when you, I'm going to call it rehab that building, are you going to have to do electrical, the whole electrical plumbing, the whole thing?
Yeah, we're going to be redoing.
Is that still knob and tube, or is that more updated?
No, it's been updated. The upstairs. Let me see if this folder has.
It was used as offices within the last 10 years. I remember going to a meeting upstairs. That's where accounting and finance were. So yeah, I'm sure there may need to be upgrades, but it was electrical and computer and restrooms and stuff like that. The restrooms weren't upstairs, but I just mean, it's been used as offices recently.
I'm just sitting here thinking of a previous April electrical fire in a DuPont building. And I'm thinking,
oh yeah, no, we're all cognizant of that. Like Cindy said, everything was pretty much updated in 2006. And in that case, since it was communications, they did a complete electrical upgrade, which had never happened in archaeology, just how things go. So I remember when that building was redone, I was like, would you all be able to come over and do this to our building? And it was just kind of like, oh no, you're fine. You all are, dirty archaeologists. So
the redheaded stepchild again.
Well, today is a very different time than it was in 2006. And so it's, while we still, have the dirt on our shoes because it's just our stock and trade, it's recognized what the landscape can contribute. And so much of this is thanks to, your all's efforts, especially in this call. You've got a lot of people with a lot of history here today. Not only being present on site and getting to know people. I mean, that's huge. I mean, being donors as well is a huge help, but having donors who have the presence, of being on the board, knowing board members, being part of the volunteers here, being a face that's connected with archaeology, that makes all the difference altogether. It makes it so that you're not a voice that can be ignored, and we're not the only ones talking about our things. It's folks with, not only putting the time in and coming up here on an annual basis, but also putting resources towards this, and that's something that has brought us to where we are today. It means that we can use a building like the Esso building, and from Yola's standpoint, like there were two different local boards in Orange, steeplechase boards, that wanted to use that building for other purposes, and Yola basically told them, back off, archaeology needs a home. No amount of rent is gonna supersede what archaeology is contributing, and those folks backed off. So this is, it helps to have someone like Yola who understands archaeology, but she's coming into this, and part of the reason she said she wanted to be here was, what archaeology has done over the past 20 years here, both with descendants, with you all, with expedition members, with the public programs that we have. So like on the call right here, we've got, you know, a powerhouse of folks that have really moved the needle. So thank you all for what you all have done. It's been a team partnership, and really appreciate it. But didn't mean to get into all this, but it's just it's what happens. It's beautiful, and this is why I'm really looking forward to, you know, this week coming up. It's going to have a lot of folks here that are old friends, and old friends, young hearts, and new ideas. So good stuff. But yeah, but wanted to definitely make sure that you all, you know, knew about the plans for the week of the alumni program, and we're able to. It'd be great to have you be able to stay on Saturday and take part in everything we're doing, from the woods, the East Woods hike, to the book talk and the food trucks we're going to have over at the visitor center. And then, you know, feel free to spend an extra night and then head back on Sunday. So, or do part of the trip on Saturday. Hopefully we won't have any hurricanes that'll be interfering with that. We'll have to see. But y'all have that history as well. So, but, oh, cool. Anybody have any additional comments or questions?
Just
I just wanted to say,
can't wait to get there.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you all. Watching, we got an expedition group here this week. It's a number of high school students, and there's a couple of folks, including my nephew, who have come on multiple programs. So it's all of what we've been through this year and the last couple of years. You know, it's you'd think, what makes it sustainable, and it's programs that we do, and friends like you all. So really appreciate it.
So by way of information, we haven't had any rain here in about 2 months.
Well,
jeez.
Well, we got to send you some rain here, Mike. We got to turn Debbie towards in your direction.
We don't want it at all.
You don't want it at all? Okay. Yeah, I think you've got an environment that's suited for no rain. So
I'm going for the long distance award for this expedition.
Yes, I think you'll make it. I think you'll make it, Mike. So
where are you from?
Idaho.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Mike used to live outside of Richmond, and for years Mike was our beyond a handyman, our carpenter and craftsman that repaired screens, built the cabinets that are in the old lab. And Mike, the plexiglass that you cut for the study collection, we recently just power washed all that, and so we're able to save it. So the plexiglass that you cut protected the study collection from the soot damage.
Oh, so nice.
Thank you so much for that, Mike. If your ears are burning, they were burning in a very good way over just last week when we were power washing all that. So I was telling Lizzie some of the history of who is the gentleman that cut all that plexiglass, Mike Turner. So
it was a labor of love for me.
I know, and we felt it. We always had our Mike projects, so Mike was ready to do it. And I still use your miter saw. I'm using that for the bathroom project. When you come out, you'll have to come over to the house and see that.
So Matt, I moved into a house out here. I'll just tell you this briefly. I moved into a house out here with an RV bay, because they build a lot of houses out here with RV bays.
Yeah.
But I don't have an RV. But that's not my shop. So.
Oh, so you enclosed it. Very cool. Yeah. My in-laws did a similar thing. They set up an RV bay as a cheap way to start a building, and then enclosed it. So that worked out well. So cool. All right, you all. Well, good seeing everybody. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you know where to find us. Drop Steve or I a line, and we will get you where you need to be. But can't wait to see you all. And for those of you all in the recording, feel free to contact us with any questions. So, all right, bye everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.